So I don't subscribe any of my products, but I have this app.
It's dropped to 50p. Doesn't it? If you're somebody that's super busy, I would highly recommend you're not decanting everything that comes in. Correct?
Yeah, well, I got used to it.
Yeah, we'll get used to it.
What my question was, obviously we've gone for quite a practical, homely feel, but how do you find the balance between it being practical or just looking nice?
Okay. Well, that will lend to somebody's lifestyle. My advice is to decant the items that you use on a regular basis. So the pastas, the flowers, your teas, your coffees. It looks lovely. Glass jars lend themselves to storing the coffees and the teas. But if you're going to be decanting larger, more bulkier items, I would suggest the plastic food safe storage.
Yeah.
These ones, or these ones, especially if you've got little hands. Kind of get involved, like trying to cook in it, all of those things. If it's going to be dropped, you don't want broken glass on the floor either.
So when it's in these containers, does it affect the life of the food or these all?
No, it will keep it fresher for longer. I mean, if you've got, let's say, in here, it's going to stay fresher for longer in that than it will in that, and then you flip it. But as long as it's a food safe and dry goods, then it's going to be fine. I would store it in. Yeah.
Obviously, like us, we've gone from like a standing start, obviously these were there, but in a real life situation, let's say I'm messy, I don't know where to start. How do we start the process of being organised from absolutely nothing or a mess?
Without the use of a professional organiser?
No, it wants to get you in, but what's the first?
Okay, well, first of all, to communicate with us, we'd have a discovery call, kind of understand what it is that you're looking to achieve in the space, what your end goal is.
Yeah.
And then from that point, we do a site visit to understand the space, understand how much is in the cupboards. A lot of people might say, I've got, not very large kitchen, but essentially what's being stored in there is the amount of items that are in there.
Yeah.
And then from that stance, we would then book in a project day. On project day, we bring everything out of the cupboards. So it is pretty chaotic. And then we'll detox from that. We'll remove out-of-date food, items that don't belong, like holistically wouldn't belong in that space.
Right.
And then we organise. But from our planning session, that's when we would kind of understand how the client lives. Predominantly, a lot of people will start decanting something but not really using it, or decanting everything. So our job is to bring it and simplify it. Essentially what we will do is collate like items together, decant what we think is worthwhile decanting. You can always add to it later. That would be my advice, is just start small and then kind of add to it later on the line. But yeah, we'll go in, do a project planning session where we take measurements of all the internals, because you can't just turn up and hope everything fits.
Yeah.
And also look and feel. It's important how you we didn't necessarily want to put plastic at the top of here, but and this space lends to this style bamboo turntable and these shelf stackers. Putting plastic in could also work, but it actually looks much nicer utilising that.
Yeah.
So it's working with the client to understand what they want look and feel wise.
Okay. And in terms of, so now it all looks pretty, how do we make sure it stays looking pretty 1 month, 3 months, 6 months down the line? Is that just up to the client?
Yeah, it's like saying, how do you keep a house clean? You're not just going to clean once and then never clean again.
No.
You've got to keep on top of it. But once we've been in as a team, the idea is that all the systems are in place for you to keep on top of that. So when you go to do your weekly shop, it'd be a case of going, oh, how much pasta have I got? Oh no, I don't need to order that. It should be at a glance, so everything accessible and visible for you then to be able to implement when it comes in. There will be times where you'll order things that might go over that space, and how the space changes, it will evolve a little bit.
Yeah.
But kitchens predominantly will stay the same once we've implemented those systems, and not much will change.
So the larders help on it, i.e. if there's not visual, see.
Yeah, so the shelf stackers for here, for example, when you're doing a food shop, you'll be able to see clearly what's in there. Whereas if we were to remove that, you're not really seeing what's at the back.
No, like the old wall units, if everything was there, you don't know how many tins of...
Yeah, and also utilising drawers are great for this sort of space, but making sure that you're using the right storage internally, so being able to see what's in them. is really important.
Yeah.
A lot of people will decant but the lid's closed and you can't see what's in it.
Right, yeah.
So it's making sure you have the right storage. And again, using a professional organiser, we have knowledge and experience of all the different storage solutions for different spaces. And that takes time to know that. And what best works, and we will advise clients what is best and how to store each product.
Yeah.